All right, we are here for mastermind time. Let's see. It is the month of March, and our theme for this month is all around choose abundance. So how are we choosing abundance in our life? And what does that look like or feel like for us? I've already had some really interesting conversations this month, but the ladies that are here with me haven't been in those conversations. So I'm curious, like, do either one of you want to share, what are your thoughts when you hear, choosing abundance in your life? Is it a positive? Is it negative? How do you feel about choosing abundance for yourself? And anyone can talk.
I definitely feel like it's a true statement. I mean, I definitely feel like I choose abundance over lack of abundance. I always try to be positive and be open to the possibilities.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I feel like abundance for me overlaps with gratefulness a lot, in that you're not like approaching everything from a lens of I don't have enough time, I don't have enough resources, and you're trying to instead approach things with what do I have an excess of that I can work with, or what like pieces of my life are requiring more prioritization right now that I get to be in the moment and enjoy that abundance with that part of my life instead of work or what have you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Choosing what we get to do and deciding the energy that we're going to put in it is what I heard. And I love what both of you said, because the idea of, first of all, both words are so powerful. Choose, because we always have a choice in how we want to respond versus react to anything in our life. And when we look at abundance, it is that overflow, it is that access, it is that extra that we have happening that's good, is the way that I look at it. And when we decide how we want to live our life, we can always bring it back to that true choice for us, which is we live in abundance. We always have enough. We're always provided for, and that it looks differently in some seasons of our life, or the relationships in our life, because abundance isn't only financial. So I want to just make sure I put that on there too. Like, we're talking abundance in love, abundance in gratitude, abundance in finance, all of the things, it's all of the things. So starting that conversation with you ladies to think about how you're choosing abundance this month. What areas would you love to see more abundance in that you could be focusing on? Because where we focus is where our energy goes. So I'll leave you with that for us to go to our intentions, and I'll see you back at 10:02.
That keeps saying, I don't want to, she's had a lot of, I don't want to have any more surgeries. And then something always comes up and something else always happens, and another surgery, another diagnosis. And it's hard on her, because I know she's trying to say, I choose to be healthy and not have to have more surgery, but she's had her shoulders replaced, her knees replaced. Now she's got a little bit of a heart problem that she discovered wasn't a big deal. But I keep telling her, you need to think positive. You need to think the opposite of, I don't want to have another surgery, I don't want to have something else wrong, but it's really hard for her. So I think that's really thinking abundance, because health is, it's all part of the big picture. So
yeah, I love that you said health. Right, that is the think positive, and think, what do we actually desire versus away. I'm learning a lot about toward goal setting and away goal setting. So that's like, I don't want to be this, and you're moving away from something. Or is it, I want to be this, and you're moving toward the thing that we want. So, I never really thought about setting goals or intentions as, they really could be with the wrong energy, until I started to really pay attention to okay, is this what I want, or am I doing this because I don't want the repercussions of what's on the other side? Because there's a different thing that's happening for us and a different energy that we're projecting when we, make it the latter, when it is the opposite of what we want. So really focusing, on the positive, like what is the desire? The desire is for health. The desire is for vibrant life and vitality. And, also thinking about gratitude for the fact that she is able to get these surgeries. She is able to, get these adjustments, or as it feels heavy, of course, because you're in it. But right, a lot of people don't even have those options, maybe, or the ability to get those repairs and the things that they really need to keep sustaining and also moving forward out to be that healthy person that they aspire to be. So yeah. Have
Honestly,
you
it's
guys?
kind of funny because she just went to the cardiologist. She's got a really slow heartbeat. She
Okay.
was doing LS3. She goes, I'm either gonna have to have she's only like 62, have a pacemaker or have this really invasive procedure. And cardiologist said, no, you just need to drink 80 ounces of water a day. And she was, I'm like, that's a lot of water. She's like, I will do it if it keeps me. And I said, you know what, when you drink that much water, because she's got really dark circles in her eyes, those aren't gonna go away. Your skin is gonna change, everything. She's like, you're right, it is. How much is that, Beck?
This is a this is a gallon.
Nice.
So 80 is here, right? I drink this whole thing every day, and I know that's excessive. But yeah, 80. So her doctor said the 80 ounces.
Yeah, her cardiologist, I mean, she was like convinced either pacemaker or this other ablation procedure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, think positive, that you have to think. I think she kind of does self-defeating. She thinks she's thinking positive, but then she's thinking the worst case all the time. Anyway, so yeah, her doctor said 80 ounces of water every day, and that will get your heart rate regulated.
Very cool.
And she's been
Yeah.
doing it ever since he told us, like, if I can keep my heart going with this, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, I've been working on trying to drink 4 17-ounce bottles a day, and I'm struggling. I'm not quite getting where I want to be, but
Yeah. How great that she is committed to that. Like saying like she's ready, like I'm willing to do that. Like her willingness to say, I can choose to drink more water, especially when it's broke down to, understanding the opposite of what's going to happen, and her staying focused on what she needs to do to continue the momentum that she's building with her health. That's great to hear that she's willing to do that, because right, we could say that's way too much water, I'll never be able to do it. Or
and
we
it's
can
so
choose to
funny.
say,
I
can
knew that
practice
would
it.
take care of the circles under her eyes, and she's like, so I can't wait to see her next and see, because I know it's going to change her skin and a lot of other things as well. She said she
Yeah.
never had any energy, so like, I have energy now. I
I
just
think
thought
that's
that
a
was an
big
example
thing.
of abundant thinking, so that's why I said that, brought that up. But
No, I love that example. And I think it's great to realize like the ripple effect that makes, right? To understand like when we make a good choice for ourselves and we choose to have something in the positive, in abundance, right? It does ripple effect into other areas of our life. So when we choose to stay hydrated, it gives you more clarity, it gives you more energy. It brings a lot more than we understand. And that's just, I mean, that's a great example. So thanks for sharing that, Lisa. Christina, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I mean, I was gonna kind of fill space a little bit and talk about kind of what you were talking about, Becky, how it relates to newer marketing scenarios and kind of how my brain is wrapping around it using that. But that could take a little more time than we have right this very moment.
I love that you're diligently looking at the clock. We're going to stay on time. That's great. Okay, well, we'll pause here. We'll get some celebrations and intentions. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. All right, so we are in the last part of the mastermind time for my hours. And one of the things that stuck with me that was brought up, Erin, you had said, getting ready for building in follow-up time and like really getting going in your week and having those things happen. And the words follow up stuck in my head because this is one of the things that we've trained on with our MCs in the past is about the words follow up and how we feel about follow up as just like people, right? Like, do I like people following up with me, or do I like people connecting with me? So thinking about the shifting of the words simply like follow up, because to me, this may be a me thing, but we've talked about this in different scenarios. So when I think, oh, I need to go follow up with someone, it feels less exciting to me. And it feels more like something I have to do versus something I'm going to choose to do, because it's building connection, which leads to relationship building and, all of those things that happen with it. So the fun way that we thought about helping anchor that idea is follow up is kind of like FU, right? Follow up, FU. And that's definitely far from what we want to be, coming with when we're following through with people on a connection. So I use the words follow through on connection versus follow up. So just something that was sticking with me from that you said that I wanted to just kind of bring out in case that supports anyone else as a shift there, just a little tweak. So does anything come up for you guys in that? Does that feel different to you, or?
I feel like follow through is a good set of words for sure, because like we talk about in sports or what have you, unless you follow through with whatever action you're doing, you're not actually going to get the intended result. So I think that's more accurate to the intention in a follow-up is to create whatever outcome you want from the interaction rather than just letting it taper off.
Yeah. I love that. Putting the picture for me of like a sports analogy. That's really great. That really puts a picture for me. I'm visual. So I like that. Anyone else have anything they want to share around that?
It didn't really change my feelings around it, because that's one of the things that that is a challenge for me, is that I want to be able to tell you something once and you say yes, or you say no, and then moving on. I don't want to have to check with you 5 times or 12 times and have to continue following up with you. That I would feel like such pest. So saying follow through, I guess, changes that a tiny bit, but it still basically feels the same. But it does, I guess, change the intent a little, like the feeling around the intent a little, that it's not like I'm bugging them, I'm just completing the process. Something like that.
Yeah, that's where I focus on follow through with connection to da 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 da, right? Like even the 4 words versus just the 2. So it's more of I focus on the connection that I'm building, the relationship building of the person that I'm reaching, or the organization that I'm reaching out to, because that's where, that forms is in interaction. And yes, people ghost and they don't answer, or they looked at it at a stoplight and they didn't respond, like all the things we know. And that follow through with connection, right? Like I need people to remind me all the time. So I understand that, but thinking about even extending it from follow through to follow through with the connection, to kind of get yourself thinking about the actual relationships that you're building along the way of the, continuing conversations, because how many times do we get jumpers that are like, yes, right away, or no? More times than not, people don't want to hurt your feelings to say no right away, or they need more information to be able to be a full body yes. So just continuing that with some positive intent. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it helpful to one of the things I'm practicing is setting the expectation for clients, right? Of, hey, this, 3 days from now, so and so on my team is going to reach out to you, right? So then I don't feel like I'm pestering them. It's literally like, hey, I told you this was going to be happening in 3 days. I'm just touching base with you, right? And it's I don't know, making it seem less personal or more of just this is our process. And I mean, it helps build rapport too. I think I've switched back of if someone's following up with me or following through with something, then I don't know, it's oh, thank you for reminding me. That's most of the time. It's crap, I forgot that, and thank you.
It's accountability, right?
Right.
When we
Well, and
follow
that's
through.
a whole other conversation could be on accountability. If that's
Oh, yeah.
going to be a word one of these months, that would be a whole other thing about accountability. But
I love it.
That
Yeah.
was
Good
last
idea.
month's step.
Oh, for Fearless Generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Accountability is always good. Well, I love it. This is some great things to think about. I hope that supported someone and give you some ideas on how you can, maybe amp up or shift in, choosing that abundant mindset for reaching out, building those relationships and those connections in a positive way, and just give yourself a little bit more energy and a more boost to continue that momentum. So I hope you ladies have an awesome rest of your afternoon. We're taking a little break, and Brenda will be back at the top of the next hour.